Hello, Rooted MKE family. I'm so excited to be here with you today and excited to be here with author Ebony Lewis. She is the author of Dear Black Boy, It's Okay to Cry. And I'm just so excited to be here with you guys to learn more about her journey to becoming an author and her sharing her work around the title and mental health and youth mental health and her work in building up youth throughout the Milwaukee community, which she has been doing for a great amount of time now. So what are you doing now and how are you still supporting youth in the Milwaukee community?
Awesome. Well, as mentioned, my name is Ebony Lewis, and I am an author. So, author of Dear Black Boy, It's Okay to Cry. I also have my own company, E Inspires LLC. And then when I'm not doing that and not being a mom, I am working for Milwaukee Public Schools as the director of the Gender and Identity Inclusion Department, which has a focus on girls of color and LGBTQ plus youth throughout the district.
So as I read your book, I was crying because it read to me like a prayer for my kid. Like, I want all these things for you, and you are strong and you are brave, and it's okay to be upset and show other people that you're upset without messages of you're being a punk or you need to stop crying or men don't cry. So it definitely felt like I need this for my son, and I'm speaking it to myself so I can be this for my son. Was that your intention?
Yeah, it was spot on. No, I mean, that was definitely the intention. I think so. Initially, when I wrote the book, I wrote this book in dedication to my cousin who I lost to suicide in 2016. My cousin was a 35-year-old Black man. And so I wrote this letter in a way that spoke to the young Black boy in him, in hopes that other young Black boys would hear that message and would get those reminders, because I think so often they don't, right? There's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of, shut up and be a man or stop crying. And so then when we're older, trying to navigate feelings, we feel uncomfortable doing things that are very normal, like crying. And so I think, that's what I took from this, is it really being, affirmations to Black and brown boys and just anyone in general. When you read the story, if you've read the story, you can put anybody's name in there and the messaging applies. But I think more specifically for Black and brown boys, I hear walking in schools, parents that perpetuate these ideas, moms and grandmothers and dads that are afraid, that are, toughen up, man up, stop crying. I was in a classroom recently where a young man was sharing that, like, his mom is the one that tells him all the time not to cry and that he has to be strong and that he has to be a man.
All through the book, I see like messages of light. So you have a line that says, "You come from magic, strength, and power." And when I read that, I paused and was just like, yes. But there's messages that are conveyed in that same way all throughout the book. Where do those messages come from?
There's so many of us that experience so many things that create darkness in us. And some of us have so much dark in us that finding the light seems impossible. And then there are some of us, right, that have been equipped, that have been, blessed to experience life in a way that has been filled with some darkness, but so much more light that, like, finding the light is like super easy. And so I think of like walking in a dark room, right, and like looking for the light and like stumbling over things. And so for me, reminding people that that's exactly what crying and what embracing emotion is about. It is about cleaning your soul so that that light can always shine. Once again, things happen to us all and we all experience very dark things, but if we equip ourselves properly with tools, like finding the light will come very easy. And not always easy, but it will become natural.
So the line in your book, "You can't fix the things you don't reveal." Does it speak to that kind of unpacking where that darkness comes from to be able to reveal the light you're talking about?
Yep. I think of, right, the things that have happened to me, or the things I know young people, right, that have experienced these very dark things. And so often what we see, the acting out, the lashing out, comes from like taking that darkness and like owning it and letting it live in you. And it manifests physically, it manifests spiritually, emotionally, right? Like, it shows up in all the ways. And so I think the true power in living is to say, you know what, this happened to me and I'm releasing it. But in order to release it, you have to speak that. You have to make it known. And I think that's why, like, I highlight therapy in the book and talking to people, because once again, that is a very effective tool that our communities and most times like we have diminished because we've been taught that it's a negative thing, right?
Right.
And it doesn't mean that you have to like tell everybody everything, but it also means that you can't sit in silence and that you can't do nothing, right? You have to do something and you have to take those steps to really dive deep into what has happened to you, because then you'll be informed on why you feel the way you feel, why you act the way you act, and then you can take the necessary steps to readjust that.
Ebony, what is next for you?
Just doing more with my book. I think one of the things I wanted to be intentional about is that I didn't just write, a book that became like a shelf filler, but that could really be used every day. I know so many social workers and therapists that tell me like, I use your book in sessions all the time. I pop it out and we just turn to a page and it goes. And then book number 2 is coming. I have finalized the manuscript and started the illustration process for my second book, which is dedicated to young girls. And it was very much intentionally poured into me. It was a vision that I received because I was being a little stubborn. I got a lot of, well, what about Dear Black Girl? What about? And I was like, I love girls. I love, that is the work that I do, but I also wanted to ensure that whatever I did made sense and I wasn't playing off of this need for something for girls, but I was being very intentional about what that messaging is, because I'm very intentional about messaging, right? Words mean a lot to me. And so I didn't just want to like mass produce something because Dear Black Boy was doing well or people loved it. I wanted it to come from a real place. And so it came from a real place. It was a love letter to myself.
So thank you for being with us today, and we will be with you and families in person in October for our family gathering series. So you will get a copy of Ebony's book and be with her in the flesh and experience all of the light she radiates on a consistent basis. You are definitely light to my life, really. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and for taking this time to highlight the story, the journey. And Dear Black Boy, It's Okay to Cry. I wanted to make sure I shared it. And held it up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.